There are kids riding their bikes in this alley here. It's off Pressman Street in West Baltimore, and they can do it because this is one of the alleys that was cleaned up by this group of garbage men from Florida. The guys know about the politics around all this, and they want nothing to do with us, telling us today politics has nothing to do with us collecting garbage.
This is beautiful that they came all the way from Florida just to clean up the areas in Baltimore City. I think that is beautiful.
This is Renee from West Baltimore. We talked to her as a crew of 8 garbage men from out of state and in orange shirts cleaned up her street, sidewalks, and alleys. The scene brought one woman to the curb with her own contribution, and then it brought her to tears.
I don't know what to say. I'm just so overwhelmed. This is
You're emotional.
yes, but this is gorgeous.
She's emotional, she says, because they work so hard to keep this block of Appleton clean, but they can't stop the illegal dumping.
And I complain all the time at 311 about coming out here to clean the alley, and nobody has come out.
On Thursday, a guy named John Rourke showed up, drove up actually from Florida with 7 friends, a garbage truck, and a plan to clean 12 square blocks of Baltimore City in 3 days. Says he heard about Baltimore from that social media flap sparked by the president on Twitter, but is not here for politics, publicity, or to place blame.
People can pick up litter, but you can't expect the people in this neighborhood to pick up a couch that's been dumped into an alley or a rocking chair or something like that. So then what are they supposed to do with it?
Council President Brandon Scott says the city must confront the culture of illegal dumping.
And we have to be better as a city and providing the opportunity for DPW to be better and putting pressure on them to clean up and be better.
An idea of just how entrenched the culture of illegal dumping is here. Residents who were so happy this morning are very irritated tonight, making sure that we know shortly after this crew cleared an alley across the street here that people came and dumped trash. Reporting live from West Baltimore tonight where the kids are riding their bikes in the alley, I'm Kate Amara, WBAL TV 11 News.